So we now move not so far from where Shamala Devi is to the other part of, actually just a little bit in front of the Yamuna. I think we're in Gopinath Bhavan, if I'm correct. I might be completely wrong, but I think this is where our next wonderful speaker is. He also joined ISKCON in 1986 after finishing college, and received Srila Prabhupada's books and was encaptured by them. And as time went on, he involved himself in creating or helping the ISKCON Youth Forum, which started in Delhi. And he used to bring wonderful preach with the youth, and then bring them to Vraj, and take them around in Vraj and do that. And then he also helped with the beautiful construction of the ISKCON temple in Delhi. He spent his majority of his, up until 1995, his life in dedicating himself to supporting and growing ISKCON. He is a wonderful preacher, and actually a lot of people that know him from India will know of him anyway. And then just before Srila Gurudev came into Prabhuji's life, Srila Prabhupada came into a dream to confirm to go to Srila Gurudev. And so then Sriman Rohinananda Prabhu went to Srila Gurudev in 1995 and met with Srila Gurudev there. And since then, I know for a fact that he's dedicated his life and soul to Srila Gurudev's mission, and that is non-different from Srila Prabhupada's mission. So with great honor, I would like to invite our next speaker, Sriman Rohinananda Prabhu from Vrindavan. Hari Bol Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Didi, Hare Krishna Yashodanandan Prabhu. Thank you very much for inviting me for this Zoom meeting of yours. And I'm offering my humble obeisances first to my Gurudev, Nitilila Pravishtom Vishnupad Ashtotashat, Paribrajikacharya, Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And equal number of humble obeisances to Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Param Gurudev, Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosai Maharaj, and all the devotees. I need your blessings that I may carry on with my devotional service. I came to Gurudev with a lot of doubts, and Gurudev knew that I was very much attached to Swami Prabhupada, even though I never met him, but I was very dedicated to him. So he specially gave me a lot of time on this Guru Tattva. And those points I would like to discuss, and it will, I think, help people to understand Guru Tattva. Gurudev first told me, what does Diksha mean actually? And he said, Diksha is actually a Sanskrit word which is divided into two, Di and Ksha. Di actually means Divya. Divya means spiritual knowledge. And Ksha means the end of sinful activities. So when you combine this, this is the word Diksha, that your guru should be capable to give you spiritual knowledge, and with that you will be able to finish your sinful activities or material activities and involve yourself fully. This is how he started with me. And by my personal experience, I saw from the very first day that he was never attracted to so-called money. And because he told me, look, whatever collection you do, you please give it to ISKCON only. I don't need. My only work is to clean your heart. This is what he is saying from the very first day. Don't think that you have come to me, I have some motive for you with you. My only purpose is to clean your heart, which is filled with all the dirty things as lust, greed, anger he started. And then he says, I want to clean it and I want to give it to Radha Krishna. This is my duty, and this should be the duty of all gurus. Anyway, the first meeting only, he captured my heart. Like, he says, since when are you chanting? I said, Maharaj, from last 10 years. So thinking myself very puffed up because I was preaching and collection of funds. So I said, from 10 years I'm chanting. He said, okay, you tell me, what are you chanting? I said, look, what a strange question he's saying. What are you chanting? He knows I'm from ISKCON. So then I said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. He was listening. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He was very seriously listening. Then he says, okay, you're chanting. I said, look, when I've told him that I'm chanting, he's saying, okay, you chant. Okay, tell me, what is Krishna doing now? I said, my God, this I never thought. What is Krishna doing now? He said, you are calling someone, so he should be listening. So what is he doing now? So that was the first thing which made me that I never thought that I am calling and he is listening. So that was a sambandh. My relation should be there by which I am chanting. That was a very simple thing. And from 10 years I was chanting, but it was like more of a ritual, just like a routine. I am just a machine chanting. So I said, no, Maharaj, Gurudev, I don't know. What is Krishna doing? So yes, you come to me, I will tell you what Krishna is doing. So that was the first meeting where he took my heart. And I knew he's a simple person who will give me the most complicated spiritual things very simply the way he has given me. So this first thing came in my heart was my relation with him whom I am calling. That is the relation. And which I never delve into it. Oh, I am calling someone and I'm not thinking about it. This was his mood. And then he tried to remove my confusions. The confusions I had, but I was afraid to ask him. But as and when I started meeting him, what he did, he himself used to tell me those things which were in my heart. He says, you know what is Bhagavatiya Parampara? That is the disciplic succession. Is Parampara means disciplic succession, and Bhagavati means a Parampara which we are following. And what is Pancharatrik Vidhi Parampara? Now, these two words were very confusing for me at that time. I said, no, Gurudev, I don't know. He says, look, a disciplic succession which is coming and where the Guru is giving the mantras in a ritualistic way, where fire sacrifices are happening and a mala is also given. Everything is given same and the mantras are also the same. The Guru is giving in a ritualistic way without himself being situated in those mantras. This is Pancharatrik Vidhi, which means rituals, which is most of all 90% this thing is being carried on with fire sacrifice and this and that. Then Gurudev said, actually we are coming from Bhagavatiya Parampara. That is where we take the mood, the internal mood of Gurudev, who himself is also situated in that mantra. The mood is to be followed, which is the bigger aspect of the parampara or disciplic succession. And do you know what is our parampara? I said, no. Then he said, our parampara is Bhagavatiya parampara. Because you see that Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he did not take Diksha from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He did not. So you mean to say, if we are following, because he was trying to clear my doubt in a way that you have taken Diksha somewhere and now you are coming to me and someone is blacklisting me in a way that, oh, you are leaving your Guru. So he's trying to remove my doubts. So he says, look, then we have to take out Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj from our parampara. And then similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has not taken Diksha from Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. The mood has been taken. That is our Bhagavatiya Parampara. And so this cleared my doubt that how Gurudev is connected to Swami Prabhupada. That is Bhagavatiya Parampara. And we have to follow that Bhagavatiya Parampara, the mood, and which was taken by Gurudev, I think, and Gurudev cleared it. Look, I am the first disciple of Swami Prabhupada. He told me. This is what he told me. I am the first disciple of Prabhupada. Then I said, Gurudev, how you are the first disciple? He says, look, I gave him samadhi. And he called me also. And in his last days, he instructed me, you will give me samadhi. And you know, in our Indian custom, the eldest son, he, the fire is there. So is the eldest son who is selected for doing all these rituals for the father. So Gurudev said, I did it. So in that way also, if they believe that, so I was called and I am the senior most disciple of Swamiji, as I was very dedicated to his books. So I was in that consciousness. So he convinced me that he is the foremost disciple of Swami Prabhupada. So this Bhagavatiya Parampara and Panchratrik Vidhi Parampara, the Bhagavatiya also includes the Panchratrik, means that the rituals can be followed or not, but they are in it only. The mood is being followed. So then it gave me a lot of confidence. Yes, now I am getting the guru who is actually going to give me knowledge and mood. Remembering some instances which were very educative. He was a very fearless preacher. As we say, Singh Guru. We call our gurus as Singh. Singh means having the mood of a lion or a tiger who are not afraid. Just like the lion is going in a jungle and he is not afraid of anyone. He doesn't hide. He comes in front and then whatever is there, he just goes to fight. So this is the mood which is to be followed. And this is what our acharyas are doing. But now it is a, I should say, as the time is progressing, it is not the gurus who are going to follow. Gurus are going to follow, I feel, the shishyas, the way, if because it's, as Kali is going to improve, then progress, I should say, then such shishya parampara is going to come, where shishya is going to dictate the gurus. But our guru, we are very lucky that we got a Sadguru. And where he, the saying about his fearlessness, one very good instance is coming in my mind, where a very rich person, he came to our Delhi temple and he told Gurudev, look, Gurudev, now you don't worry. I have come and whatever festivals you have, I am going to sponsor it. He's telling Gurudev, and I was there. You don't worry, any festival, Janamashmi, Radha-ashmi, you just tell me. And you tell me how many thousands of people are coming, I will arrange everything, you don't worry. Such a person coming to Gurudev, and then he started also. This person who came to Gurudev and he said, everything will be sponsored, you don't worry Gurudev, you just go and preach. One after the other festivals started, and we had very big festivals with lot of decorations, and it was just like a party going on in a very big hotel. The way he used to decorate the temple outside, and thousands of people started. This happened maybe 2-3 years. This was going on, and I remember in 2010, where Gurudev was not feeling well and he was manifesting his unhealthy pastimes. So, and our Madhav Maharaj was not letting anyone go inside the room where Gurudev was there. So, this rich person, no, he was known by everyone because he's sponsoring so much. Somehow or the other, he was allowed, and I was with him, and I was also allowed. These are the last meeting, I think, for a public person Gurudev gave. After that, he never met anyone in Delhi. And I was lucky that I was also there in that room. This person, Gurudev, was sitting, and I was also sitting. I think Shamrani Didi was also there at the back. I don't remember, but in that big room, we three were there, and Didi, I think, was also at the back. So this man, I remember it was Tuesday, and he was wearing a tilak which was red. Gurudev looked at him and he said, "You tell me what is this? You are this tilak." So, oh Gurudev, today is Tuesday, and you know we worship Hanumanji, and so I'm just coming from temple, Hanuman temple. Gurudev got very serious, and then Gurudev said, "What have you learned from me? Why do you come to me? Why you come to the temple?" my God, I was thinking Gurudev is telling a person who is sponsoring everything, and Gurudev is saying, what have you gained? What have you learned from me? He says, you know, Hanumanji is a Dasya Bhakt, and he's in the mood of servitude. And do you know he doesn't enter Braj? He cannot enter into Braj. This man is looking at Gurudev and he's thinking, what have I done? What wrong I have done? And Gurudev is saying, what? Why have you come? What have you learned in so many years from me? Why do you come to the temple? So then Gurudev explained, he says, look, and see such a high mood to a person who is just an outsider, how he started. He says, look, Braj is a place where even Lakshmi ji cannot enter. And he's saying that the mood of Lakshmi also is being, Lakshmi ji is worshipping the mood of gopis. This man is listening. He's saying, even Gurudev is saying the Pandavas or even Akru, Uddhav, he is worshipping that somehow or the other I may enter into that Braj. This man is listening. Then Gurudev gave one example. He says, you know, there is one village in Braj which is by the name Ranwari Gaon. This is what Gurudev is saying. Do you know it? He says, no. He says, look, there was one Ranwari Baba and a Siddh Bhakt, and he was always chanting and Radhaji used to come and he used to get Leela Darshan. This is what he told us. And one day, some of his friends came, and it was in his mind also. The friends invited him to, let's go to Dwarka. And it's a real story. It is there in Braj. And that Ranwari Gaon is also nearby. So Gurudev said, do you know, this Baba, he also developed a feeling, okay, let me also go to Braj, Dwarka, and let me have darshan of Dwarkadish. So then he thought, oh, I had a dream of Radhaji and she was doing such Leela. So he thought, oh, it may be a dream only. Now let me go to Dwarka. Radhaji came in his dream that don't go. So he thought it's a dream. And he left that place and he went to Dwarka. And Gurudev said, after that, when he came back, no Leelas were coming to him. So he started crying loudly and calling Radhe, Radhe, but nothing came. Then in dream, Radhaji said, no, no, you don't belong to me. You go to Rukmani. You go to Dwarkadish. You go, went there leaving me. I will not come in with you. Then he started crying, but still he was chanting and dreams to him stopped. Then Gurudev said that he went into Agni Samadhi. He started chanting, left everything in his hut at that place. And then Agni Samadhi means by his own yogic powers, he burnt himself. And today also there is a Samadhi of that hut where it is burnt. He was burnt by himself only, self-immolation. The fire came out of him. And today also it is people worship that place. That yes, he says that is the nishtha or conviction you should have for Brajendra Nandan. So this is it, that we have to understand that such a rich person being given the straight away the goal, whether he understood or not, we understand by meeting Gurudev again and again. So he was not worried that this man may come or not, who is sponsoring lakhs and lakhs of rupees for every festival. He is sponsoring so much, but Gurudev was just with his own goals. He wanted to give the real message. Yes, you have to have, if you want to follow me, then you have to have this one pointed conviction. No way, he could not compromise his philosophy. No, he was not even thinking that he may come tomorrow or not, and where will the next festival happen. He says we are dependent on Radhaji. I told him, I said, Gurudev, this person gives lot of, after he went away, I said, Gurudev, this person gives lot of money. He says, we are not dependent on him. We are dependent on Radhaji. That much conviction, we have it. Anyway, that person, how much he followed, what happened, I don't know. But this was Gurudev's fearless preaching. He was fearless to give his topmost goal. I brought one of my very good acquaintances. He is a leading lawyer in Delhi, and he became our god brother also later on. Gurudev came to know him. I gave Gurudev his introduction, and Gurudev became friendly with him. And one day, when Gurudev came to Delhi, and this friend of mine who's a leading lawyer, he also came, and he was with Gurudev. This was in 2006-7, I think. So Gurudev was walking, and he says it was the Rup Goswami disappearance festival was about to come, Jhulan, that was very nearby. So Gurudev was in Delhi. Then he says, "Oh, you come over to this festival of Jhulan for Rup Goswami." And now this man was very busy man. He says, "Okay, you will come." So this man says, "No, Gurudev, I cannot come. I am busy." So Gurudev looked at him and he says, "You tell me, what is the difference between you and a dog?" This is what Gurudev said. And he's looking at me, and I am looking at Gurudev, that what Gurudev has said. What is it? What is the difference between you and a dog? I could not digest that this man will next time he will not come. So such a lawyer, and he's being said you are a dog. So he kept quiet. He says, "Look, you know what? Dog is in a big hurry. You see, he's always in a hurry and just going fast. And looking, he doesn't look here and there, he goes straight. And what does he do? Goes near a pole, picks up his leg and urinates. This is the busyness he has. This is what Gurudev told him. So this is the way we are doing, like, running like animals, and we don't know what is our goal. And this is the way you are. That man, he was in a way impressed, and he also took Diksha. So this is what, Gurudev is so fearless and plain with his words, that people, when they see his heart is so clear about what he wants to give, he's not after anything. He wants to just increase beautify the consciousness of a person. I remember one day, it was maybe 1997 or 96. I was new to Gurudev, and I came from Delhi specially for that Vyasa Puja of Gurudev, which was being celebrated in Mathura. And a lot of people were coming. And as it was a culture, everyone comes in a way from Mathura. Thousands and thousands of people from morning till evening, they are coming and bringing garlands, and garlands after garlands are being put. And I was sitting with Gurudev down, and Gurudev was on his asan, and his sevak also gets tired after some time. Hundreds of malas are being taken, and so many again are coming, and Gurudev is tying the tulsi on their necks, and it is going on with sweets coming to Gurudev. Gurudev is looking at me, and in a smile, I don't know, he wanted to say something, but that time so many people were there. Then there was a gap. The line was stopped outside because Gurudev was tired doing this thing, hundreds of garlands coming and going, and sweets are coming. And so then the line was stopped, and then Gurudev looked at me. He says, "Look, they think that I'm getting happy with these garlands, and it is my Vyas Puja, but they don't understand what I actually want to give them. This is not my happiness. My happiness is to bring the living entities, those flowers which are rotting in this material world, and I will just bring and give the mala of those living entities whom I will wash their heart and give those fresh flowers to Radha and Krishna. Those garland of living entities, if anyone brings them, and then I will wash their heart and give it to Radha Krishna." This is what was his mood inside. And this mood, I think, if today we have some mood, what we want to reach is, there are two moods of Gurudev. One is an external mood, and one is an internal mood. And Gurudev said, "Bahe antar iha duita sadhan, sadak dehe kare shravana kirtan. Mane nij siddh dehe kariya bhavana, ratri dine kare braje krishnera sevana." This is Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Gurudev is saying, Bahi antar. So any sadhak, there are two forms of his. Bahi means outward, and inside is his own form, and outside also like a sadhak he is behaving. Sadhak dehe kare shravan kirtan. Kirtan means he is preaching and he is chanting. This is what we can see from outside. But what is his internal mood? And then internal mood is mane nij siddh dehe. By his mind, he is always meditating on his perfected goal of his sarup, that he is doing seva of Radha Krishna under the guidance of those gopis and manjaris. We have seen it. I was there at Raghunath Das Goswami Samadhi. I was there at Kartik, just sitting on the uh, left side, and the sun was coming from other side, and I could see the tears stream following, and Gurudev just in front of Raghunath Das Goswami Samadhi. What was those tears? We want to know that. That is the internal mood of Gurudev. What those tears are speaking, that we are forgetting again and again. This is what Gurudev wants to give. What is that? And many times, hundreds of times, he says, Tvai vasmin, na jiva mi tva bina, iti vigyai radhe tanne mam padantikam. Oh Radhe, I am yours, I am yours. And if you do not give me mercy, I will just leave my life just now here only. Tvai vasmin, na jiva mi tva bina. I will not keep my life. Na jiva mi tva bina, iti vigyai radhe. Knowing this, Radhaji, you please take me into your shelter. This is the internal mood. And what is Gurudev doing with, why is he crying at Raghunath Das Goswami? Who is Raghunath Das Goswami? Rati Manjari. And Gurudev, he is serving and he is remembering that pastime immediately in front of hundreds of people. He could not stop his tears. This is the mood, what he wants to give us. And externally, he was very blunt with his preaching without being attached to any person who is rich. And especially I, because our temple was new and Gurudev did not go out for preaching. And it was first few times from Mathura only. And he was invited to Delhi, and he used to stay. He stayed in my house also, and many people in. He used to stay in those selected houses because there was no temple. And when temple was built, I came to know, and Gurudev said that temple has come, but now people are not there. So you should collect people. So I said, yes, Gurudev. And what I did, I went to those resettlement colonies where people were not so rich, but there were lines and lines and lanes of people who were there. And so we started preaching over there. And we started some buses over there, and we used to bring them to temple. So this way, temple looked as if it is being filled. And I could see whether it was a sweeper, whether it was a peon. Gurudev, when he used to see someone new, whether Madhav Maharaj was getting angry or not, whether anyone was, he used to see, and then he used to stop there. What is your name? Okay, you come. And he used to sit and explain the mantra and give him proper time. And whenever they used to come, what will they get? And in fact, they were robbers also, and all kinds of people. And Gurudev gave them special mercy. And to tell you, today also, more than hundreds of people, they take a train from Delhi and they go to Navadvip. Hundreds of people, those who are poor. And to tell you, they don't even have money. And what they do, they buy 20 tickets. And 60 people go in that 20 tickets. 40 people don't take tickets and they go. They are so dedicated. Every year, since they were brought to Gurudev, they are going and stay there, very religious. They are actually following Gurudev because Gurudev touched them. This is what it is. I was always asking questions to Gurudev since beginning. And Gurudev was, I don't know what is the time, because if the time is over, then I finish it over here now. So thank you very much for your listening, and please bless me that I stay on in Vrindavan and try to follow the Gurudev's internal mood, which we have to cultivate. That is the real mood will give him real happiness. And if that mood, we have seen those tears have a special message and special relation, because it is a message of separation and how separation is, that is the mood, how he was attached with his relation with Rati Manjari. That is Raghunath Das Goswami, Rup Goswami, bringing so many festivals like Rup Goswami festival disappearance. No one in this Brahmand, I should say, 3-day festival of Rup Goswami, and so many ideas come out of, and we are actually following Rup Goswami and Gurudev is following it. So we should dedicate ourselves more and more, especially on these days. We should meditate on those moods what Gurudev wants to give. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhuva evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Rohini Nandan Prabhu, you just, I don't know how to even express it, but this concept of Srila Gurudev's mood and going deep within our bhajan to get this mood to be able to actually really serve Srila Gurudev is what was highlighted to me through this, your Harikatha. And I'm just so grateful because, you know, it's really easy for us to either get really involved in seva or really get deep in bhajan, but to find the balance of the two is so important, and that's something I struggle with a lot. And it was really just nice to hear how Srila Gurudev would you know, didn't want anything from any of us. He's never wanted anything from any of us, and he always would just be like, just give me your heart, that's all I want. And he was so expert in grabbing people's hearts that were from so opposite people that you would never think that would go to Srila Gurudev, and he would just know how exactly to grab them and say the right things and bring them to Krishna consciousness. And it really highlighted that the moods and that fearlessness that he had, and so many different types of things. And I think for me now, listening back, I'm just like, okay, what is it that is my responsibility as Gurudev's disciple to grow in bhakti, but to also help his mission? And I'm just trying to figure that out. So I'm just really glad that you kind of highlighted these things to us, because it was just absolutely beautiful, and I'm so grateful that you came and shared with us. So thank you so much for your Harikatha. Dandavat Pranam.
Hari Bol, Rohini Nandan, that was like an accelerating steam train of mood. That was beautiful. And like with Shamala before, I actually have questions for you, but I'm going to call you privately if I may. I beg a little bit of your time. I love the bit about Shimha Guru. I love that. One question that I do think is relevant for everybody though, which I will ask now, is when Gurudev told the businessman about the dog, what was the result of that? Did the businessman get it, or was he? What was the reaction?
No. Because he was already preached by me that you know, in ISKCON we are like working like animals, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This is our basic sentence when we preach over there. So he was introduced to that very much. And he was quite mellowed down when he actually came, and he knew all these things. So he was not so much affected by it. In fact, he became more favorable, that the sadhu is not greedy for anything, and he doesn't. He is taking the reality or giving me the real message. That he himself told me that yes, what we are actually doing is like dogs only. He told me that what we are doing actually. So he's realizing, and sadhu is what I told him. I said sadhu means, it's a Sanskrit word. It means to cut. They want to cut our false attachment to this material world. That is their real mercy. Not that a person is looking after your fame and money, so this person will come to me and then I will get so much more fame because he's becoming my disciple. He knew it. So he actually surrendered. And today also he's one of our dedicated God brothers in Delhi, having good practice also, and he comes regularly to that program, especially for which he was said, "Are you a dog?" So he comes to that program of Rup Goswami every year.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's amazing. That's so beautiful. Thank you. So all ended really well. Haribol, Dandavats. Thank you.